It is Monday, October 27th, and you are watching the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. Folks, we have a Calder Trophy race. Ivan Demidov is right back in it. 9 points in 10 games to start the season. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to take a look at some other Habs prospects and how they're doing. We're going to talk a little bit about the Laval Rocket. And Snake took a trip down to North Dakota. Well, not North Dakota, Clarkson, to see North Dakota. And we're going to hear about all that afterwards. Of course, it's Monday, so I got to give you a little fantasy report to help you win your week. And we're going to go dig it in the mailbag. So it's going to be a fun show, and it all starts right here, right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Trust the process. The sickest NHL prospect podcast with Snake and Shayne.
With the 5th overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
It's gonna be sick.
A very fitting intro for today's show. Producer Shayne here, joined as always by Simon, the Snake Boisvert. Snake, how we doing today?
Hey, doing great. How about you?
Excellent. We got treated to some nice hockey over the weekend, over the week. And you got to see some in live action, and I can't wait to hear more about it. But Snake, really the topic of discussion in Montreal right now is number 93. Ivan Demidov took over the game on Saturday against the Vancouver Canucks. 3 primary points, including the game-winning goal. We knew heading into the season that offensively this player is obviously very gifted, right? I think that's the right word to use, and he's just electric and puck possession, puck protection, puck on a string. I mean, when Ivan Demidov has the puck on his stick, you're in good hands, pun intended. He's incredible. I'm pulling a little pag here, okay? I'm trying. But he's incredible. He's so fun to watch offensively. But Snake, I want to hear more about the rest of his game, okay? Because I know you're really good at dissecting all of that. What have you seen from Ivan Demidov away from the puck and in his own zone? Has he impressed you?
Yeah, because I always thought that he was very involved in every aspect of the game, contrary to a lot of young offensive players who just wait for the puck, basically to want a breakaway. I mean, not all of them, but I mean, some of them have that tendency because in junior hockey, you can get away with it. But I think that Demidov is very involved, and it's another ace up his sleeve, because then who knows? Maybe one day he could be a regular penalty killer.
Ooh.
Look, Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry. I'm going back a long time ago, but Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry were killing penalties, and they were scoring tons of goals with shorthanded goals.
Yeah.
So why not one day? I mean, now, look, it's his rookie season. Let's not push it. I mean, Habs have other guys, to do that kind of stuff. But one day, I think it could be a good idea. Well, 4 or 5 extra goals per year. Why not? Especially these goals, they're kind of the shorthanded goals at some point. I think are very important because it kind of breaks the momentum of the other team.
Of course.
I don't have stats about this, but I would be curious to know what happens after a team scores a shorthanded goal, especially when the score is tied, or if the game is tied. So that's what I like about him, and I think about his offensive game and his all-around game. I think it's going to improve. I think at some point he's going to have better line mates, and he's gaining more and more confidence. So he's the type of player that what you see now, I think, is going to go up. It's not one of these October strings of luck, or not luck, but it's like these baseball players who bat 400 in April, and then they end the season with 220. So I think it's the same thing with hockey. You have these guys, they come out flying, and then November, December comes around, and they really cool off. I don't think it's going to be Demidov's case. I think, we all predicted that he was going to win the Rookie of the Year. Last week, Matthew Schaefer was the talk of the hockey world. And I still think the world of Matthew Schaefer, he could get 60 points this year. But the thing is, if Demidov gets 75, 80 points and he dominates the way he did the other night, I think he's going to win. But at least we have a race. And it's fun because it's a defenseman against a forward.
Yeah.
And then, it's two different positions. It's two different roles. The Habs have a better team than the Islanders, but still the Islanders are not a bottom feeder. So it's going to be fun to follow all year.
Definitely will. And fans have been asking for it, begging for it, screaming for it. Ivan Demidov is now on the first power play wave, at the detriment of, unfortunately, Zachary Bolduc, who had done well on the power play. But again, the Habs are at this point where they have too many first power play type of guys. Right? Noah Dobson would be on the first power play of many teams, but he's quarterbacking the second wave, right? Zachary Bolduc would be on the first power play for many teams. Look, it was a matter of time before Ivan Demidov was going to step in that role, and he delivered big time. 2 primary assists on the power play. He was just unbelievable. And I mean, this is his bread and butter. We saw him when he has time and space. This player can do anything.
This is what happened with Lane Hudson last year. Exactly. He didn't start on the first wave.
He earned it.
I think it was Mike Madison. And then at some point people were screaming for it, and then it did happen. So I see a replay of last year, but I think Demidov is on the first power play a little bit earlier than Hudson was.
Yeah.
But still, it was the same strategy. And you know what? It's good. It's good. You don't just hand it to a rookie. Mm-hmm. In the first game, you put a lot of pressure on him. But, put the veteran guys, see what happens. And then the guy earns it, like you say. I think he's going to be on the first power play for many, many years. Not going to go back to the second wave until, maybe when he's 35.
Even then. No, this is a special kind of player. And Snake, this kind of draws back to my first question here. And this is what Martin St. Louis had to say about it, right? He said he earned the opportunity to be on the first power play with the rest of his game, right? He has been involved defensively, in transition, away from the puck. He has been reliable. He's been involved. Therefore, he's been rewarded time on the first power play. And listen, I guess the team gets rewarded too, because they don't win that game without him. That's for sure.
Well, that's how he was last year in the KHL. He was always involved.
Right.
And that's something I had noticed last year watching his games. I said, oh, this is a different type of young offensive Russian player, And it's not only Russian players, but it's sort of more obvious, if you remember Alex Ovechkin, in his debut, and Ilya Kovalchuk was that way. They were just thinking offense. Matej Michkov, most recently.
Of course.
Matej Michkov only thinks offense. So that's what makes Demidov a more rounded player and more interesting.
Yeah. Well, what a
especially
player.
For coaches. Especially for coaches.
That's a coach's dream right there. Absolutely. No, he's definitely winning points with Marty and the fan base and the rest of the team and the entire city. Point is, this player is fantastic. And, we're going to keep a close eye on him for the rest of the year, of course. And we're going to keep talking about him because he's going to keep doing crazy things. Snake, moving along now to players who are not with the team yet, but maybe one day. Let's talk a little bit about the prospects. And there's 3 guys that you wanted to highlight. I'm really curious about this. Let's start with a fan favorite here, LJ Mooney of the Minnesota Gophers. 4 points in 8 games to start the season. What have you seen from him? What have you liked? What have you been concerned about? Give us the details. Well,
I think it's fun to give fans updates, on players that they don't get to see very much and that we don't talk about as much, as Zorowski or Jacob Fowler or David Ronbacher. What's interesting about Mooney is that although he has his point production has been nil for a couple of games, like he has 4 points in 8 games, I decided to watch his 2 games this weekend. I watched his shifts, and I was thinking, okay, he didn't get any points. Is it because he hit the freshman wall? Let's call it, not the rookie wall, but the freshman wall. And no, he hasn't. I think he played very well. He skates very well. He's an excellent stick handler. He has great hands. And it's just that the points didn't come. So I think they will come back at some point this season. But I did something because I wanted to compare 2 5'7" guys, Cole Caulfield and LG Mooney. So I went back on the website that I use to watch players. I said, okay, I'm sure I'm going to find Cole Caulfield's games from 2019 when he was a freshman at Wisconsin. I said, I'm going to watch a couple of his October games to see how they compare. And it was interesting because there were some things that Mooney has that are better than Caulfield at the same age. The skating and the stick handling.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like, he's very, very entertaining to watch.
Oh, for sure.
But the thing with Caulfield, he was a much, much, much better shooter, goal scorer. And that's why Cole Caulfield is one of the best goal scorers in the NHL now. You could see that. His famous one-timer. You remember all these highlights with the one-timers? Always well-positioned to take a shot. And I think LG Mooney is not a goal scorer. So that's the main difference between Caulfield and LG Mooney. Maybe Caulfield was a little bit tougher, I would say, for a 5'7" guy. He was a little bit stronger than Mooney is also, but, that can change. I mean, Mooney's just 18. So it's interesting to see how Mooney could fit in the NHL vis-a-vis Caulfield. And it's going to be hard, I think, for Mooney, I've said it before, to be a top 6 player.
Yeah.
But I still have hope that he could be a third liner. But nevertheless, I think the Habs draft in 2025 was fun because you're looking forward to watching these guys during the year. Whether it be, LG Mooney, Zarovsky, Pickford, Papeneis. It's like, okay, we have something to watch. They might not make it. They might not become stars, but it's fun. I always look forward to watching Mooney's games. So that's my comment, comparable with Cole Caulfield. So I would say I give the notch to Cole Caulfield at the same age.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, just to draw comparisons, I mean, Cole Caulfield right now is among the best goal scorers in the NHL, and he likely will finish the season as one of the best. Yeah. Now, again, very different types of players, but similar profiles in a sense. So it's interesting to see those comparisons, Snake.
And I'm trying to watch the 2019 Cole Caulfield, and it's hard without thinking of what he's become.
Right. Yeah.
We have a listener's question later that goes back to 2004. and you have but you have to put yourself and the guys are still playing in the NHL, just a little hint. But it's hard to put yourself in your 2024 shoes, 2004 shoes.
That's it. Yeah.
So when I watched Caulfield in 2019, what was I thinking at the time? What did I think of him? What comments I made? Because I remember having radio hits when I would talk about him, and I remember saying, "This is a goal scorer. This is a goal scorer." And I remember using, although it's different times, I said, this is a guy who reminds me of Brett Hall in terms of pure goal scoring.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to get Hall's stats. The 80s and the 2020s are different. Okay, he's not going to get 70 goals.
No.
Because of the way hockey is played now and the goalies and everything. But just the fact, if he can be a 40-goal scorer like year in, year out, I mean, this is fantastic.
Huge. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm a big fan of LJ Mooney. Is so is, I assume many Habs fans. He's a very fun player, a fun personality as well. He's the kind of guy you want to root for. So we'll keep tabs on LJ Mooney, Little John, for the rest of the year, and we'll talk about him more on this program. Now, Snake, let's go to the other end of the height spectrum, and let's go out west. For the Kelowna Rockets, Hayden Papeneis, 6'5" center, 4 points in 5 games coming back from mono. We know mono is no bueno, right? We talked about him again last week there. He's just getting back in the groove of it, right? And Kelowna's supposed to be a pretty good team this year. They're hosting the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
So, he should have help around him. But what have you seen from Hayden Papeneis?
Well, we know he's going to be playing until late May at least.
Yeah.
So that's very good for him. My report on Papeneis is pretty much the same as it was last year, pre-draft. He's a right-handed centerman who's good at face-offs. He's 6'5". He's listed at 6'5". So, and he has a quick release. He's a fairly good skater. He can make plays. So why wasn't he drafted in the first round? I think that's a legitimate question. Why did he drop to number 69 if he's that good, in the sense that he has all these qualities that are very, very important in the NHL? I find that for his size, he doesn't know how to use his size. He's not aggressive enough, and his effort level is really not consistent. So it's too bad because he has the tools.
Yeah.
And I could see him as, like a third liner with a guy like Mooney, because if Mooney makes it to the NHL, he's going to need some big guys to play with him. And the fact that Papeneis is a centerman, he can move to the wing. Because these centermen, it's much easier to move them to the wing than the other way around.
Exactly.
Or Mooney goes to the wing and Papeneis plays at center. I mean, I'm just projecting here. Maybe
you have options.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to make it or not. But the thing with Papeneis, what really, really disappoints me, what's frustrating about him, I would say, is you want to see a more consistent effort. And as you see in the NHL, we saw it, with players over the last 10, 15 years. You can't just take shifts off.
Yeah.
And Papeneis, I find him a little bit passive sometimes. There's a puck battle in the corner, and he's just waiting. And he's 6'5". So what you're thinking, as a fan in the stands, you're like, "Come on, Hayden, go get the puck."
Yeah.
You're big, you're strong, but he has a quick release. He has some offensive skills. So one would hope that he would. Become a little bit more involved, like we were talking about Demidov, and he could make it in the NHL. Otherwise, I don't know. He's surely he's going to get a contract, and go with the Laval Rocket, play with the Laval Rocket. Next year there's a rule that says that you can bring one 19-year-old junior player to Laval. This is going to be a dilemma for with Papeneis, because I think size-wise, skating-wise, I think he could be in the AHL at age 19, and I think he could be wasting his time in the WHL. But at the same time, is he ready for the Laval Rocket? Will he be ready for the Laval Rocket? Not sure. So it's going to be interesting to follow. Look, he's going to be playing till the end of May. So he's going to have a lot of hockey. Hopefully, Kelowna still makes it, to at least the Final Four, even if they, that they don't get eliminated in the first round. So he can play lots of hockey, can play 70, 80 games, and then we'll reassess. But guys with these habits, I don't know how they get rid of it. Because you look at, we've been talking about this a lot, and I don't want to pound on the guy, but, Joshua Roy.
Yeah. No, that's true.
It's hard to make the NHL if you don't give 100% on every shift. It's a crazy league. They're machines. The guys are machines.
Oh, literally.
And that's unreal. So that's my comment about Papeneis. But he has good size and he's a skilled player. So let's see.
Well, I mean, the Habs gambled on the tools, right? Like you said, like he's got all the tools to succeed.
Look, it's a good dart.
It's a good
dart to throw. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
At 69th, I think that's a pretty good deal.
I'd rather they go with this guy than with some, future 7 defensemen.
Exactly.
But I remember saying, look, I would have preferred Cooper Simpson, who plays in the USHL right now, who was going to North Dakota next year, drafted by the Bruins a few picks after Papeneis. I would have preferred Cooper Simpson. But look, I like the Habs draft, so let's not nitpick.
No, that's it. And
let's see what happens.
Even if he only amounts to becoming a really good AHLer,
69th
overall, it's still a good pick. You know what I mean?
Well, how many guys?
That's how it happens.
How many guys picked in the 3rd round who really make it? I mean, have a great career. Very few. So you have to try. You have to try things, and
exactly.
They gambled on the tools, probably.
High upside. Well, we'll keep tabs on Mr. Papeneis. I love saying that name, by the way. That's just so much fun. Hayden Papeneis. Just rolls off the tongue. You know, it's great. I love it. Anyways,
I have a lot of Greek friends, and they love it. Yeah, they do.
It's awesome. Now, I guess we're gonna go in the funky names. Yevgeny Volokhin. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the Habs. The goaltending situation with the Habs is really interesting because on one hand you have Jakub Dobesh, who is unbreakable this season, just stellar. 5 wins, no losses. He has the best save percentage in the NHL. Okay. Then you have Samuel Montembeault, who last year, I mean, without him, Habs don't make the playoffs, right? Is he still the number 1? What's going on there? And then you have Jacob Fowler at the AHL level. Okay. You know, deemed to be a future number 1 starter. And now you have other guys, Arseny Radkov in Boisvert, right? You have Yevgeny Volokhin in Russia. And we're going to talk a little bit about him because his situation.
Alexis Cournoyer also.
Alexis Cournoyer. They drafted so many goaltenders.
Which is great.
Exactly. That's what you want to do.
Because you don't know with these guys. You don't know.
7th rounder could become the best goalie in the NHL. You never
Henrik Lundqvist.
Pinpoint. So anyways, Yevgeny Volokhin this season, he's played in the KHL and in the VHL. Now in the KHL, he's played 2 games with Moscow Spartak, 1 win. He's got a 2.41 goals allowed. Not great. 892 save percentage. Not great. But then if we go to the VHL, and I'm going to try to pronounce this team's name, Snake, okay? Give me a second here. Voskresensk Kimik, I think. Anyways, in the VHL this year, 12 games, 8 wins, 1.76 goals allowed against, and a 937 save percentage. Now, obviously, the VHL is, a pretty good step below the KHL. But these are pretty interesting stats, Snake. What are we thinking about Mr. Volokhin?
Well, what's interesting about this this website that I subscribe to is that they give you player shifts, but they also give you every action that the goalie makes.
Oh,
so all the saves, all the goals, whenever he handles the puck. So you can watch a goalie's game in about 7 minutes, which is fantastic. So you take an hour, you watch 8 games. That's what I did. I took an hour. I watched Volokhin's games this year. Look, this is a guy. Just to recap, when he was 17, he was absolutely fantastic in the MHL, which is the equivalent of junior hockey in Russia. Then last year, he went up to the KHL. He really struggled, and now he's 20 years old, and he's splitting his time between the KHL and the VHL. The VHL is the equivalent of the American Hockey League in Russia. Now, is it as strong as the American Hockey League in North America? No, but it's the equivalent in terms of the hierarchy of leagues in Russia. So what I've seen of him, first of all, he's under contract until 2027. So he's going to play another year in Russia after this year, which is great. Okay. Yeah. He's 20. Next year, 21. Is he going to be ready for the Laval Rocket at the age 22? I don't know yet, but for now, he is not ready at all. I think he's technically sound. I think he covers the net well. He's a big guy. I think 6'3", 6'4". He's a big guy. He's very alert. So I don't have a problem with most of his game. But there is one thing, and that's why he's struggling in the KHL. And even this year in the KHL, it's a little bit fast for him in the sense that he needs to be quicker the way he moves laterally. He needs to react faster. So obviously in the VHL, the pace of play is slower. The players don't have as quick a release as they do in the KHL. So he's fine. And that's why he has these good stats. Once he moves up a notch, he's fine. But at some point, I remember there was a guy who scored a goal in not in a wraparound, but he was like cutting in front of the net. So he was technically well positioned, but the guy just made a little move, a guy with good hands probably made just a little move with his stick, and he froze. So that's one example. So obviously, if the guy were in Laval this year, it would be hard.
Yeah.
It would be very hard. So that's why these goalies, they need more reps in their own country. Like, as much as we were talking about Swedish forwards last year, I want them in North America. I don't want them to stay over there. Yeah. These goalies, take your time, even if they show up at 24, 25. Same with NCAA goalies. Look at Jakub Debesh. When did he show up here? 22? Age 22, age 23? It's fine. Goalies, they just need reps. Doesn't matter what league they play in, you just need to learn how to stop shots. But I think in terms of, I think since he's technically sound, I think it's a matter of getting quicker. Now, how do you get quicker? Look, I'm not a goalie coach or goalie trainer. I don't know, but I'm sure, the Habs have probably noticed stuff like that, and they could work with him at some point. So I wouldn't write him off, let's say, but he's a long shot, obviously.
Yeah, still has some ground to cover there, but like you said, the tools, right? The upside is there. Yeah, and we know that Russia is a goalie factory. I mean, you look today, right? It's Vasilevsky's been dominating the league for how many years now? Igor Shesterkin's having a year, right? Ilya Sorokin's always good. Sergei Bobrovsky, how many? He's got a few rings on his fingers. So
and they're not all first round picks. Exactly. Well, most of them are not, actually.
Yep. Well, listen, you can never go wrong with a Russian goalie. And if he doesn't pan out, this guy was it
doesn't matter.
5th, 6th round pick. It happens. It happens. So, we'll keep tabs on Mr. Volokin and the Voskrensk Kimik team in the VHL. Hopefully I won't get to say that one too often, but it's really interesting stuff. Well, now shifting over to the AHL, talk a little bit about the Laval Rocket. Before we do, I want to give a little promotion for one of our shows, Le Sick Podcast en mode Rocket with Cédric Blondin and Vincent Demuy, who are the color commentators for Sick Media with the Laval Rocket. By the way, you can tune into them for every home game. On their show, they're going to have Laval Rocket forward Xavier Simoneau today. So stay tuned on that. Make sure you subscribe to that channel as well. We're going to talk a little Rocket right now. They are 4-3 this season. This week, it's been a little tougher. They lost 6-2 in Belleville against the Senators, who are not a good team. So that's a bit of a blow. Then they lost 4-0 to the Rochester Americans. They got pummeled by Konsta Helenius. He was just everywhere, completely dominated. But then bounced back with a 4-2 win against the Utica Comets, not comments. But you can go in the comment section and send in your questions if you want. The players that we're keeping tabs on really. Jared Davidson, 5 points in 7 games, decent start to the year. Sean Farrell, 6 points in 7 games. Better start to the year than last year for him. Philip Meshar, 3 points. Owen Beck, 3 points. Florent Jacquet, 2 points. Adam Engstrom, 3 points. Joshua Roy, obviously, with the Habs right now on their trip. What have you seen, Snake? What stood out to you? What are you worried about? Give us the details.
Well, first of all, with the goalies, I think both Kakkonen and Fowler did not have good games last week, but Fowler bounced back on Saturday.
Yeah.
So no worries. We all knew that the veterans were going to be the key players on the Rocket this year. Dauphin, Farrell, Belzile. They're older, they're gifted, and they're the Rockets' bread and butter. But I would say what I'm concerned about, and although it's not a big surprise, the 21, 22-year-old guys are not really progressing right now. And like we said, at age 20, if you're a forward in the American Hockey League, you have to stand out. And if you don't, well, at least at the age of 21, you have to take a step forward. I don't think Owen Beck has taken a step forward offensively. I don't think Michar has been great either, although he had one good game, I would say. Florian Jacquet, I know he only has one goal, but there was something with this guy. He had a very, very high shooting percentage last year. I think it was 24%. So he wasn't going to get a 24% shooting percentage. So I think expectations were a little bit too high. But if you look at the shooting percentage, you readjust your expectations. So I'm fine with this. I think he's still, of all the young forwards in Laval, I think he's the one who's probably better, the best suited for the NHL at some point, probably on a fourth line.
Mm-hmm.
And he brings something to the table that the other guys don't, and it's toughness. I mean, real toughness. Whereas the other guys, could Owen Beck become a defensive player? It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, to me, he's a fourth liner. Michar, I've given up a long, long time ago. I don't see it. And the other guys are older. So I don't know what you think, but to me, there's no big surprise right now. I think the Rocket are a good team, but they're driven by their veterans.
Yeah.
And their goaltending. Okay, it wasn't great for a couple of games, but I think overall their goaltending is very good.
I think it's also important to remember the injuries that this team has, right? Toby Bisson has missed some games.
Yeah.
They called up Joshua Roy, so he's not been around. Like
Delgaizo's
been called up as well. They haven't been a full team, but again, that's what every AHL team deals with.
Look, it's the nature of the league.
Not different.
It's a reserve team, Yeah.
So, I don't know that it's fair to expect them to be, the best team in the AHL again this season. But really the main thing that I'm keying in on is what you said is, a little concerning, is those young players need to progress. They need to show NHL level qualities. Otherwise, this might be a lost season, right? So obviously a lot of expectations on Jacob Fowler. And like you say, he bounced back. That's really important. We know this guy has a strong character. He doesn't get affected by losses like that. So bounce back with a nice win against Utica. Now, Snake, listen, it's been 4 weeks since we were told that David Reinbacher would be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I'm concerned. I thought he was going to be back by the end of October. I thought we were going to be able to see him in action. Was it more serious than we thought? Or is it some kind of setback that he had? Don't know. I really don't know, but I'm looking forward to having him back, get a few games to get back into the groove. And he's obviously the guy with Fowler. They are the two guys to watch. And I think that's the thing. I think an American Hockey League team, you have to develop players. You don't have to develop 10 players a year. You have to develop your key guys who are going to spend some time there. So Fowler, Reinbacher, maybe Adam Engstrom, we'll see. Maybe a couple of fourth liners. And two, you have to have an entertaining product on the ice for your fan base, because the fan base, they want to see the team win. It's nice to see the kids progress, but they want to see the team win. So I think the Rocket is doing both. You can't expect a foreign team to churn 10 players a year. let's not get our hopes too high. Let's just enjoy watching a couple of prospects develop, and it's a good show in Laval. Look, I'll tell you one thing. Okay, my girlfriend is not really into hockey at all, but so she's going to go to a game, and most of the time she's bored. But the Laval Rocket, she likes it. She had been there before. She likes it, and she even told me, she goes, "Hey, talk to Shayne. Let's go back to the Laval Rocket game."
Absolutely.
So I think it's a good sign that they have a good product. If you see my point.
No doubt about it.
Anyway, I'm just digressing here, but it goes to show you, But from my analyst's point of view, I focus on main prospects. Yeah,
exactly. That's what the show's about as well. So we're gonna keep tabs on those prospects. And folks, if you want to hear more about the Rocket, you know where to go. Okay, Le Sick Podcast, Ahmad Rocket. You get all your details and player interviews. Xavier Simoneau is on today. Don't miss that. Snake, I am dying to hear about your trip south of the border, okay? You went to go see Clarkson against North Dakota, more specifically, Keaton Verhoff, projected to probably go top 2 in the 2026 NHL draft. Let us have it. What did you see?
Yeah, it's rare that you're going to see North Dakota coming east. So there were a lot of scouts from Eastern North America who were in attendance on Friday and Saturday. Now, I watched 4 players because 2 of them are first rounders. Another one was a highly touted prospect. And obviously there's Keaton Verhoff. So you want to start with the other guys or you want to start with Verhoff?
Let's start with the other guys.
Okay, the other guys. Cole Reshny, first-round pick from Calgary, mid-round pick. He has 4 points in 6 games. He's 18 years old, so he's a young freshman. And I would say that he's very visible on the ice. He's not really dominant, but he's very, very visible. So I think maybe another year in North Dakota, and the following year probably will be in Calgary. I think he could be a good, probably a second liner in Calgary. They need guys.
They could use that
now. Yeah, they can use that. So I think he's a very good prospect. Will Zellers, who was drafted by Colorado, but traded in the Charlie Coyle trade at the trade deadline last year. 4 points in 6 games. He's another one. He's more of a scorer, I would say. But again, a good freshman, although he's 19 years old. I would say that Reshny was a little bit better. But I like Zellers. I think he's could make his way to probably the middle of the lineup in Boston one day. They also need young players because they're not doing well. And they traded away a lot of draft picks over the years trying to win. So I think they will need a guy like Zellers. Probably this guy who needs another season. Then the year after could be in Boston. E.J. Emery, first-round pick of the New York Rangers. Defensive defenseman. I see him as a number 6 defenseman. He was drafted 30th overall, so that kind of fits. I'm not crazy about drafting a defensive defenseman in the first round. I think these guys are available very easily on the free agent market. But, that's what they did. So not really noticeable on the ice, but he does the job. Now, Keaton Verhoff. Possible number 2 pick, number 3. Some are even mentioning him at number 1 because some people are disappointed that Gavin McKenna is not as dominant as they thought he would be at Penn State. Now, I'll give you my take on Verhoff, and it's very, very hard to predict because the guy, he's 6'4". He's 200, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. He's a monster on the ice. He is 17 years old. Same age, probably one of the youngest player in the NCAA. Same age as Macklin Celebrini was 2 years ago when he was at Boston. So this is a big step. He was a top defenseman in the WHL last year at age 16. He would have been, if you were in the WHL right now, he would be a man playing against boys.
Yeah.
So he would probably be seen as, oh my God, this Keaton Verhoff. I mean, he probably would have like 10 goals by now. Now, he has 3 goals in 6 games, only 1 assist. He scored the only goal Saturday night. They won 1-0. North Dakota won 1-0. He's an excellent skater. not only in terms of speed, but the stride, the pivot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he skates backwards like it's nothing. He's very, very mobile. I mean, he's everywhere on the ice. I mean, you cannot not notice number 18 when you go see a game. That's why he's going to be a top 5 pick or a top 3 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question is he a Matthew Schaefer type of guy? Or is he more like a Sam Dickinson or Aaron Ekblad type of guy? And this is what I was thinking. And I'll talk about more about Dickinson because Aaron Ekblad was drafted 11 years ago. I'll talk about Dickinson. I think he's a notch above Sam Dickinson,
Mm-hmm.
but he's no Matthew Schaefer.
Okay.
Well, who is? But still, if this is not a guy who's gonna take the puck behind his net and go through both blue lines and then shift guys and everything. No, he's going to take the puck. He's going to take control. He's good with zone entries. But once he's in the zone, he tries to go through defensemen. He tries to go around them, and it doesn't work. Because you know why? He has good hands, but he doesn't have great hands. And I think that makes him more of a Sam Dickinson than a Schaefer.
Okay.
Because I remember seeing Dickinson at the Memorial Cup last year. I mean, the guy was rushing the puck. Puck. Well, once he got in the offensive zone, it was more like, okay, now what do I do? And the play would often die on his stick in the offensive zone. Well, mind you, it's better than nothing. It's better than these guys. Just, I mean, I'm just dissecting his game now. I'm being very, very, I'm nitpicking because the guy is going to be a number 2 or number 3 pick. Now, a team like the San Jose Sharks, for instance, speaking of Dickinson.
Yeah.
Okay, they have all these forwards. Do they really need Gavin McKenna? And I like piling up, forwards.
Of course.
But at some point, you need guys on defense to be able to carry the puck, to play a good game defensively, good all-around game. So I think Verhoff would be a great fit with San Jose. But would Schaefer have been better for the Sharks? Of course, because now with Schaefer, they'd be talking, oh my God, Celebrini, Schaefer, that's a Stanley Cup winning duo.
Dynasty.
Yeah. So I would say Verhoff is going to be very high on my list. I'm going to still watch him on video till the end of the year, but it was nice to see him in person for a couple of games. I like him a lot, but it's not the type of player that I would necessarily buy his jersey. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
He's not going to lift anybody out of their seats. No. But he's the type of player you win with. Right?
I think so. I think somebody probably has to realize that he's not that great in the offensive zone. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to carry the puck, but at some point, give it to your centerman. Give it to another skill guy.
Yeah.
Because he's not finish his place. On the power play, he's not bad. But again, he's not super great. But look, he's 17 years old. Maybe if he were in the WHL, we'd be talking differently about him. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. It's not easy, but expectations are so high. And you always have to think Macklin Celebrini. How is he doing at 17? Macklin Celebrini at 17 was dominant. He was dominant. Look what's happening now.
Yeah. Oof.
And I thought that, look, I was very high on Celebrini. Very happy about what he's doing now, because 2 years ago when I said it was going to be better than Connor Bedard, I took a lot of heat for that. I don't know why. I think people were just in love with the Bedard hype. I don't know what it was.
Juniors.
Yeah, because but fans, if you're not a Blackhawks fan, you don't really have a horse in the race. What do you care if I say that Celebrini is going to be better than Bedard if you're not a Blackhawks fan? No, but really. But I think there was like an attachment to Bedard. Yeah, like you say, it was probably the World Juniors, which is the high event of the year.
Right.
It's the most watched event of the year. And a lot of people who watch prospects once a year, they're going to watch that tournament. Mm-hmm. Alexis Lafreniere was also fantastic as his last junior tournament before he was drafted.
He was.
So I think that, and if you want to go back 15 years, you remember the goal scored by Jordan Eberle for Canada?
The goal.
The
Oh,
goal.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think
goal.
he scored 2 of them that were very important.
Yeah.
I think in another game or something. So you see, I think that's what it is. I think you're right. But nothing against Bedard, by the way. I think he's going to be a good point producer. But I just thought that Celebrini was above the rest. And at some point, Celebrini will probably be the best player in the NHL.
I would put money on that. I would go if there was a prop on Betway. You could say, okay, Celebrini's going to win a Hart in his career. Yeah, I'd put quite a bit of money on that. Okay.
Oh yeah,
he is spectacular, and he's exceeded my expectations this year. Honestly, like the Sharks are a mess. Like they're not a good team at all.
It's terrible.
But
it's terrible.
This guy is willing them. He is carrying the whole entire team past. They have 2 overtime wins, but that's just because they are so bad. But this player is incredible.
It's awful on defense. It's awful.
Oh my God,
it's absolutely awful.
Horrendous.
But look, just a quick note on Clarkson. They are coached by Jean-François Houle, who used to coach the Rocket. Look, they are very well coached. It's not a highly talented team, but they are very well coached. They have a few QMJHL players. I was right behind their bench, and I saw these French names, on the back of the shirt. And very, very well coached team. They won the game on Friday night, and the North Dakota talent level was better, but they won one game. They kept the other game 1-0. So Houle, I think I was watching him because I was right behind the bench. I think he does a great job.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah. That's good to hear. He did good work with the Laval Rocket, so we wish him the best. Last question.
He played at Clarkson. He coached at Clarkson. That's why he went back. I think he loves it out there.
Makes sense. I've heard a lot of NCAA coaches, who get offers from the NHL. They're like, no, I want to stay here. Like I'm so comfortable with my college team that I want to stay here. It's a great hockey there.
Same in football.
Oh yeah. College.
If you don't mess up, you have job security. You make millions. NFL, you lose 2 games, and you're out.
Bye.
Yeah.
Anyways, Snake, I had one more question about Verhoff. Now you mentioned the power play. Obviously, he's no Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, Lane Hudson, Matthew Schaefer, right? That dynamic offensive defenseman. But can he still be a number 1 power play quarterback, you think?
I think it depends on the team. I think it depends on the team. If he goes like to the Sharks, I think it's going to be a toss-up between him and Dickinson. I know some fans like Luca Cagnoni, who plays in who plays for the Barracuda. He's a smaller type, but he's no Lane Hudson. So I think it would be between Dickinson and Verhoff. Like I say, depends on the team. But if there's always an established power play, number 1 power play guy, he's not. He's going to be on the second power play, second unit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, we'll keep tabs on him, of course, and the entire 2026 draft class. And folks, on Thursdays, that's usually what we talk about. So make sure you're subscribed, you're tuning in. Mondays is usually more Habs related, but Thursdays is broader draft, everything that's going on in the hockey world. We make the rules here. It's our show, so it changes from time to time. But before we move on, we want to, of course, thank our partners who make this show possible. When I say they make this show possible, I'm not exaggerating, okay? Do you know how expensive it was to get Snake on the Sick Podcast, right? We need partners. I joke. Snake is amazing. But really, folks, if you want to help this show, help our partners as well, because they help us, okay? It's an intermingling of love and help over here. And we want to thank, of course, Cheapest T-shirts, okay? They're great friends of ours, and they do amazing stuff. It's very simple, folks. If you're looking for the cheapest prices on wholesale apparel in Canada, you will find them at cheapesttshirts.ca. They are proudly Canadian and trusted by thousands of customers from coast to coast. They deliver unbeatable value every day. You'll always get the cheapest prices plus same-day shipping and even next-day delivery, so your order arrives fast. cheapesttshirts.ca is the go-to source for teams, businesses, events, apparel printing companies, resellers, and it's also perfect for just individual shoppers who want the best deals on everyday apparel. Plus, enjoy free shipping on larger orders and a simple, easy-to-use website that makes online ordering a breeze. Get the cheapest deals in Canada today at cheapesttshirts.ca. And of course, don't select a bust with Betway and get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario. You must be 18 years or older. Please play responsibly. With that, it is time for the Fantasy Report. I'll keep it simple this week, folks. I want to help you win your week. Therefore, I will give you 3 waiver pickups for this week that could very well help you.
Macklin Celebrini?
Hey, if on your waivers, please send me an invite. I want to be in that league.
You remember our discussion 3 weeks ago?
Oh, listen. We can go on a tangent here.
I said, and I quote, I said you were nuts.
Yeah. We could go on a tangent here. I said he was being drafted too high. I'm eating crow on that. I'll be glad to do it because I love Macklin Celebrini. I guess underestimated the Sharks, which is crazy to say because of how bad they are, but I still thought they would be worse, and I thought that would actually impede on Celebrini's production. Yeah. But this player is on another level. Like I will admit, like he is unbelievable. But I think it will catch up to him, however, at some point in the season. This production right now, he's on, 15 points in 9 games, just up, unreal. Yeah.
He's not going to get 135 points. Let's be realistic.
So it's going to catch up, but he is excellent. Now, I want to talk about waiver pickups, okay? Players who are not mostly rostered in most leagues who could help you this week. I'll start with the forward. Dylan Cousins of the Ottawa Senators is rostered in 53% of leagues. Now, that's a bit high when we're talking about waiver pickups. Usually I try to give you players under 50%, but this player is still available in almost half of the league. So if he's there, I would consider picking him up this week. He averaged 10.26 fantasy points per game over the last 2 weeks. That is excellent production. And he plays 4 games this week, so the schedule is very friendly to this player. Dylan Cousins, put a star on him. If you need a forward, I would consider adding him. And listen, if he's not available in your league, which is likely, he's not available in most leagues. Anders Lee is a guy I would look at. I would consider. He's only rostered in 16% of leagues, so he's available in most leagues. He's averaged 9.40 fantasy points per game over the last 2 weeks. He's doing very well. So again, also plays 4 games this week. That's what I got for forwards. As for defensemen, again, another very favorable schedule for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Christopher Letang. He is rostered in 34% of leagues, and over the last 2 weeks, he's averaged 6.35 fantasy points per game. The Pittsburgh Penguins and that Golden Age trio are rolling this season. They are having great starts to the year, and he's a guy I would consider adding if you need a defenseman. This year, defensemen are really hard to come by. It's hit or miss. There's really not that many that are doing great. So if he's available in your league and you need a defenseman, I would consider Christopher Letang. Now, I'm going to make Sammy very happy here because I'm going to talk goalies, and I'm going to talk Philadelphia Flyers. More specifically, Dan Vladar, okay? He is rostered in 24% of leagues. And listen, this is not a guy who most people were drafting, okay? But credit to him. This season, he's averaged 12.36 fantasy points per game. He has not had a game where he let in more than 2 goals in a game. Now, of course, that's going to change. He's no Connor Hellebuck, right? But he should be able to play 3 games this week. So again, favorable schedule for him. If you need a goalie, that's the guy I would consider. Now, it is time to go digging in the mailbag. Snake, this kind of plays into what I was talking about with the Pittsburgh Penguins, okay? And the Golden Age trio coming back to life. But we're going to go back to 2004 for this question, which comes from Bull Squash. And this person is asking, if you were to take a more modern view of scouting, assuming stronger preference for centers over wingers, would there have been a stronger case to take Evgeny Malkin over Alexander Ovechkin in the 2004 draft? Snake, I was 4 years old when that draft happened, so I'll leave this one to you because I don't quite remember their junior careers.
Yeah, I was 70 at the time, so I remember it well. No, seriously, I think this is a very, very interesting question.
Yeah.
And for younger viewers, I'm going to explain, first of all, how I saw them at the time and what they were both doing at the time. Well, first of all, Alex Ovechkin missed the 2003 draft by 2 days because he's born on September 17th. So he is almost a year older than Malkin. So although they were in the same draft, he was older. So he had one more season to show. Yeah, go ahead.
I remember the Florida Panthers tried to draft him in 2003. Were they not?
Yeah.
That was funny.
But they couldn't.
Videos of that.
So what happens is, I understand that centermen are preferred to wingers today, but still, Gavin McKenna is a winger. He might go number one. So I think when it comes to centers over wingers in the scouting world, I think it doesn't apply necessarily to superstars. I think it might apply when you're really, really pondering, okay, who should I take? Okay, let's go with the centerman. The problem is that at the time, although Malkin was a fantastic player, Ovechkin was on another planet. And I'm not saying this because he has 900 goals. Obviously, I'm just going back to 2004. And I remember in the early 2000s, Ovechkin at age 16, he scored 12 goals in 5 games at the under-17 tournament. And I had taped the game. I hadn't watched it. I taped it on a VHS or some device, where you can, it was new at the time. You could record TV shows on that device, that box. And a friend of mine had watched the game. And I said, hey, I heard of this Ovechkin guy. I hear that he's like Ilya Kovalchuk, who was already a star in the NHL at that time.
Yeah.
And my friend told me, he goes, no. He's Kovalchuk times 2. Well, in terms of goal scoring, that's pretty much what happened. But anyway, so whereas Malkin, and then I watched Ovechkin over the years, under 18, 14 goals in 8 games. I mean, and the guy was always underage when he was doing this.
Yeah.
Like he was 16 playing against 17-year-olds. So I think that Malkin at the time was good at the World Junior Championships in his draft year when he was 17. Ovechkin was 18. Ovechkin was better. I mean, I don't think there was not really a debate at the time. And I don't think the debate was about centerman versus winger. Because it was more like Ovechkin is out of this world. And a lot of people said at the time, if Evgeny Malkin had been available for the 2002 draft, 2003, he would have gone number one. Not 2005 because there was Sidney Crosby, but most years Malkin would have gone number one. So so I think if we were to see it with today's scouting habits or tendencies, I think Ovechkin would still go number one. So that's my answer to the question.
Yeah, just when we talk about generational prospects,
yeah,
he's one of them. That's pretty ridiculous stuff. Well, thank you to the question for the question, Bull Squash. Great name, by the way. And we hope you all sending in more questions. We want to hear from you, and we want to answer your questions. We have such a knowledgeable and great viewer base. It's really fun to interact with you all and answer your questions at the end of every show. If you're not subscribed yet, please do yourself a favor. I mean, I think we give pretty good content. I don't want to pump our tires too much, but we try hard. We try hard, and we have fun doing it. So this is always a great time. We're on every Monday and Thursday. But turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when we upload a new episode. And that's about it for today. Snake, anything else to add?
No, I'll see you Thursday. We'll talk about KHL players the way we did with Swedish players last week.
I look forward to it. The KHL is such a weird league. It's going to be great to dissect. It's so strange.
Maybe we'll talk a little Zarovsky also.
Ooh, okay. Now we're talking.
I love Zarovsky.
Well, this has been another great edition of the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. I'm producer Shayne for Simon the Snake Boisvert and Agnello and Sammy back at Master Control. We will see you on Thursday.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, Trust the Process on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.